We'll focus on how to manage a company accounting to the external environment, company resources and capabilities. We will study methods, models, and approaches to form company strategy. We'll learn how to make strategic decisions. Those strategic decisions that meet the challenges of the external environment, the needs of clients, and our own goals. It's a big pleasure for me and challenge to be your lecturer for this course. The course is very important for business life, and I hope we will be successful during the course, as me as a lecturer and you as a students. Let me introduce our team of the lecturers and tutors who is teaching this course. This is Irina Alenikova, Natalia Hazieva, Polina Artamashina. You can see their photos on the screen and their emails as well. I'm serving as the lecturer for this course. My email is also on the slide. Let's set the very basic rules at the very beginning of the course. Full attendance is required. This means that we have assignments each class, and those assignments are counted towards the final grade. The details about these will be further, but the tutors and myself, we advise you to be presented on the lectures and the seminars as well. I'll see the hand and answer all this later. Lovely discussion I expected. During the lecture, you can ask questions via chat facility. You can also write emails to me and I'll try to answer all the emails within 48 hours. The slides can be found on the LMS system after each session. Our expectation regarding your performance are listed on this slide. In very brief, we hoped and work for you get knowledge and feeling of what the strategy and strategy management are. We hope and we work for you upgrade your management skills while working in groups on management tasks. You see that this course is not only for grades counted towards your degree, but also the tools you can use from now onward for your successful performance. Thank you for your advice. I'll try to get notes a bit different. Sorry for that. And let's proceed in other way. Is it okay this way? Oh, sorry. It's a bit difficult to not having the opportunity to talk with you, fortunately. Here you see the schedule for the course. It's a tentative one. As you see, it was already changed today, unexpectedly, unfortunately. So we hope it will be not changed more dramatically in the future, so we can proceed like that. As you see, you can see here the topics for the lectures, and you also can see that we'll have quizzes and assignments. Quizzes and assignments, quizzes as assignments every lecture, and it counts towards your final degree. The course assessment is 4 parts. The participation is 15%. It is about your activities during the seminars when you are presenting your case study, when you're studying the cases and working alone in the groups. So your tutors will assess you. Altogether can grant you 15%. The quizzes are 20%, 10 quizzes of 2% each. We'll have a project or case write-up. It's count 20%. And this group assignment. We hope that you will have the real consulting project with the real companies. So far, we have agreements with 3 of them and working on the agreement with the 4th one. The first company is NCG. It is operator of Pulkovo Airport, the big company with which operates the only one international airport in St. Petersburg, and this international company. The agreement with these companies already reached, so we hope that next model you will be working, you can work with the NCG on the consulting project. Those of you who choose this company. We also have non-for-profit educational institution and a small company which the question is how many people can be in one group? From 5 to 7. And we hope that one big company from retailing sector will be also provide the opportunity to work on the strategic as a strategic object for this course, for this assignment. We'll have 3 exams, 45% in total. The first one is 10%, the next one 15%, the last one 20%. And this is a multiple choice, true, false exams, 50 questions each. Any further information about the grading and the assessment will be provided in the syllables that you can find on the portal, HSC portal, or you can email to me and ask the question regarding the assessment and grading. You can also email to the tutors. The emails was provided, so you can do it anytime. This course is structured around the textbook Strategic Management by Michael Hitt, the 30th edition. And you can find this this book in library. The 12th edition is also acceptable. For those of you who wish to do more work, who wish to practice more, we set the course in CentralKH platform. So the instructions will be provided via emails as well. And there are lots of studying tools out there, and you can perfect your knowledge of the course and perfect the knowledge of the subject by using these tools. There is a question about the exams. Yes, they will be closed book. We'll have the first one will be during this model, and you can find the schedule in the syllables. The third exam will be the next question is about possibility to have a group containing students from different academic groups. We have to think about that. It's a question I'll take to discuss with the tutors. I don't know. I cannot see any problem with that, but probably the regulations of HEC or the tutors may have a different view on that. Guys, if you raise the hand, it is better to just use the chat. It's easier for me to answer to your questions. So once again, you'll have opportunity to use more studying facilities through the Central Cage platform. The instructions will be provided to you via email. On the slide, you see the link and the code for this course. It's MTPP 3H6QV82H. You can use any other books on strategic management. I would recommend to use Strategic Management by Artemail. Quite a reasonable and good one. And I would also advise you to prepare to read the relevant chapters ahead of each class unit. Guys, the general rules is the more you read, the more you know. So we definitely advise you to read as much as possible on the subject. The subject is very useful for those of you who are going to go to business, to run your business, to work for a company. And in real environment, the knowledge you get from this course, from the readings, from the assignments are very useful. So I would recommend to start with the probably the simplest or most available stuff like Harvard Business Review on strategy. There are some samples of the articles. Those of the authors who did the great contribution toward the subject and toward the knowledge in the subject, like Michael Porter, like Collins, Jones, and so on, Layton. So I would recommend this reading. The additional readings will be also advised by tutors, and if we have some supplementary readings, we'll advise you and send via email or put it in the LSM. For this model, for model 3, we have the following agenda. We'll discuss what a strategy is and why it is important. We'll discuss the external analysis, the analysis of external factors. We'll talk about internal analysis, resources, capabilities, and core competencies. We'll discuss business level strategy, differentiation, cost leadership, blue ocean. We'll talk about innovation, entrepreneurship, and platforms. We'll have also in this model the subject of competitive rivalry and dynamics, and discuss the corporate level strategy. As for today, we will start with the talk on what strategy is. We'll talk about AFI framework, about industrial organization model of above average returns, resource-based model, vision, mission, values, stakeholders. This is not all the topics covered in the chapter 1 of the textbook, so I would advise you to read the textbook and additional reading as well, since it is for you to understand and to learn. Our Our work is just to help you to do that. The quizzes, so far the question is, will quizzes and exams be held online or offline during seminars or lectures? So far, we agreed with the tutors that quizzes will be held on during the lectures. And the exams will be held during the seminar time. But as it's stated in the syllables, and I was already mentioned, all the schedule is tentative, so it may be changed. As you see, we're working now online, and sometimes the time of or the schedule is changing, so maybe it will be changed as well. You will be advised ahead, and you will have a reasonable time to prepare for your assignments, as for quizzes and as well for the exams. So, what is strategy and what is important? To be honest, I would like you provide some answers to this question. You can use chat facility. You can type there. And this is mainly not for me, but I'd like to see what you think about that. But I believe that this is for you to formulate before we start with the established understanding, established definitions of the subject. How do you understand? How you understand the subject, the what we're talking about and what we are going to learn. I'll give you 2 minutes just to type the answers in the chat. Well, thank you. I believe I need to read some of those ideas, and I believe it will help you, as it will help me and your tutors. I wouldn't say the names of those who write these ideas, but the ideas deserve to be discussed. So the strategy is something like a list of steps or actions to achieve some goal or goals. A plan of actions that help to achieve a goal of a company. Strategy is the way to win everywhere. Strategy clearly formulated steps to follow in order to reach needed objective. Guys, very interesting, and I would advise you to read the chat if you have this opportunity. It's quite great. I missed to answer one of the questions regarding the questions on the exam. The questions for the exam will be from lectures and from seminars, from the prescribed readings. So, what is the strategy? The current consensus, the current agreement of those who are teaching this course is that the strategy is the set of goal-oriented actions in firms' question to gain and sustain competitive advantage. And the good strategy is analysis, diagnostic, which means diagnosis of the competitive challenges, formulation, guiding policy to address the competitive challenge, and implementation, a set of coherent actions in implementing the firm's guiding policy. Meaning, guys, it's not just a plan. It starts before you set the plan. It starts with the analysis, first of all. You have to know about where you are and who are your customers, what is your company, what is your company is about, who you're working with, what you have, what resources, what capabilities, and so on. So you start with the analysis, first of all, and analysis which requires for the further formulation for the strategy. It's not just analysis of everything, it's just analysis of specific topics, specific issues you need to know for formulating. So analysis is the part of the strategy. Formulation, a guiding policy, meaning you need to think in a structured way how to create a strategy. And traditionally, this implies several steps. Some of those steps you already know or probably heard somewhere, and somehow it is about vision, mission, values, those statements which can help us to formulate the strategy. And then it's proceed with the actual plan, the plan how we'll compete, the plan how we'll work with our goals. And the strategy also include implementation of those goals. And now, guys, I'd like to share with you the guru of strategic thinking, Malcolm Porter. And by the way, I'd like to advise you a couple of resources you probably will use for your, which will be useful to, which can be useful for your study. First of all, it's Harvard Business Review. You can find some of Porter's articles, and not just Porter's, many articles and videos on the Harvard Business Review. And this is a good way to study the subject. So let's proceed. Another piece of talks of Michael Porter on strategy with the description of this, what is the strategy is. And I hope this will help you to answer the question, actually. Sorry, guys, this system is not that easy to work with. And I hope I'll manage to do this somehow. Sorry, guys, I lost the line. Yes. Let's proceed with the presentation. So let's come back to the description and definitions of the strategy. The strategy is not just operational effectiveness, and basically the operational effectiveness is not a strategy. This is ideas said by Michael Porter, and this help us to understand what this strategy is about. Both are essential, the operational effectiveness and strategy, but unfortunately, only the operational effectiveness wouldn't create the competitive advantages that are sustainable. As soon as we reach the productivity frontier, we cannot able to compete successfully with our rivals, and with time coming, with the companies reaching this productive frontier, all the manager need to think more thoroughly about the strategy issues to set to make the company act differently to the way the competitors are doing, and in doing so, they need to think about trade-offs, which is essential to the strategy. Those trade-offs create the need for choices, and in order to limit the offers, to be more focused on the what company offers to the clients and how the company compete on the market. And this requires from us the strategic positioning. You can think about two different companies like Walmart and Nordstrom. Those two examples show us how manager must make and can choose trade-offs, how to allocate resources and which activities to pursue. For example, Walmart cost leader, big box outlet, low prices, and they have their own customers, the customer who prefer the Walmart and who find the value in purchasing in this retail in the shops of this retailer, whereas the Nordstrom is targets the different segment of the customers. Nordstrom is the differentiator, the professional salesperson, luxury settings, and those who prefer this type of environment will therefore work with these, will go to the Nordstrom. So what is the strategy? It's a firm has a competitive advantage when by implementing a chosen strategy, it creates superior value for customers And when competitors are not able to imitate the value of the firm's product, create or find it too expensive to attempt imitation. Meaning, we need the successful strategy will help the company to organize the value creation, the delivery to the customers in a way that competitors cannot imitate or could imitate not easily and not straightforward. And therefore, we can provide, we can sell the value, we can provide the value for our customers at the expenses, which is allow us to have about average return on the investment on what we want to earn from doing the business. On the slides in the presentation, you will have you'll see a couple of definitions. Those definitions will the presentation will be sent to you, and you can read and study it out there as well on the textbook. We will then try to save your time here and proceed towards the next topics, next slides. Important issue for studying the subject is to understand how it works. We already begin with the definitions of the how to study what the strategy is, and we also already mentioned that it involves analysis, formulation, and implementation. Along the course, we'll talk about all the subjects which contains in every single parts of this framework. In the part of analysis, we'll talk about strategic leadership, managing the strategy process. In the part of analysis, we also will talk about external analysis. We already mentioned that. I already mentioned that. Internal analysis, competitive advantages that help to create the firm performance and make it great. Then we'll proceed to formulation of strategies. We already mentioned that it will be a business strategy and corporative level strategy, and we'll proceed further in the next model to implementations of the strategy, meaning we'll talk about organizational design, which facilitate the achievements of our set of end goals, and about corporate culture that helps to reach the target set, and about controls that helps the business to fulfill the strategy. We also talk about corporate governance and business ethics. Those are the parts of the implementation of the strategy, and all those topics works for the achieving the strategic goals. Let's proceed to international industrial organization model of above average return. The idea behind this model is that companies will get the above average return in the industry, which help us, which is more more interesting in terms of creating value, creating profits for organization. And basically, this is the way many business people and many managers think about. Meaning, let's think which industries will create more value. In some industries, we can earn just the small profits. Say in retail business, the profits and the return on the investments much less than, for example, in other industries. And therefore, the idea for this subject is to, in this model, is to study in which sector, in which industry the company has to compete. This is traditional. The tools to understand of this model is a traditional set by classics and of the subject, and this involves of economical scale, barriers to market entry, diversification, product differentiation, the degree of concentration of firms in the industry. The model suggests that returns are influenced more so by the characteristic of external environment that a firm's unique internal resources and capabilities. Meaning, if the manager need to, first of all, to choose where to compete and go to the sector, go to the industry, the way the company can earn more on the investment of their shareholders or stakeholders. There are four underlying assumptions for the model. First of all, that the external environment imposes pressure and constraints that determine the strategy that would result in above average return. Most firms, the next one is that most firms competing within the industry or within the segment of that industry are assumed to control similar strategic relevant resources and pursue similar strategies in light of those resources. The idea behind that is that it is difficult to sustain the competitive advantage and to control resources which are free available. A company can get the needed capital. The company can get the needed staff and knowledge and patents, and can imitate the rivals. And so the industry is sort of average, create the average return for those who are competing in this industry. This means that the company can choose, first of all, the segment and then compete up there. Firms assume that their resources are highly mobile, meaning that any resources differences that might develop between firms and will be short-lived. The organizational decisions makers are rational individuals who are committed to acting out for best interest, as shown by their profit maximization behaviors. So, what is the thesis model is about? The industrial organization model of about return. Once again, there are two approaches. First of all, where to compete and how to compete. Where to compete means that the business needs to choose the sector with the great return on the investments, on greater possibility for the success. And this is those 5 steps allows the company to choose to go through this choice and to understand how to achieve this greater success for greater success. First of all, study companies has to study the external environment, especially the industrial environment. Then the company have to locate an industry with the higher potential for above average return. Next, the company will identify the strategy called for the attracting industry to earn above average return. Further development of acquisition assets and skills needed to implement the strategy. And finally, use the firm's strength to get the strength and skills to get the success in this sector. As you see already, this is exactly the plan we already mentioned above in IFI framework. First of all, we need to analyze, study, then understand how to compete. Set the goals here, set the goals and set the strategies for competing, and then use the strengths, internal capabilities, internal resources for competing in this sector. The next approach towards the strategy is so-called resource-based model of about average return. This approach sets ahead the internal capabilities of the company, internal abilities to compete. The model assumes that each organization is a collection of unique resources and capabilities, and this uniqueness allows the company to compete on different sectors. Meaning, the company has to first of all analyze what they are doing. Company managers and business persons and owners of the business need to analyze what they're doing good and what they're doing not that great. And after that, to choose the sectors and the sectors or markets or where to compete and where to try to earn the profits. In doing so, company need to analyze the resources they own and they are able to get, and those resources which allows the company to get the above average return has to be valuable, rare, and costly to imitate, and non-substitutable. Meaning, first of all, valuable means that it should allow a firm to take advantage of opportunities or neutralize threats in the external environment. Valuable means that those resources, they're just resources. Those resources which helps you to create value for you and for your customers, meaning that are useful and that are needed for competing and for doing business. Rare, meaning that not many of your competitors, not many companies can possess those resources at the time you have those resources, and this creates your strength of your company. Costly to imitate, meaning that it's difficult for other firms to obtain on the market, to purchase or to create or to reach some in other way. And this resource-based view includes go further. Those resources can be as physical, human capital, and organizational capital. Resources are inputs of a firm's production process, such as capital equipment, the skills of individual employees, patents, finance, and talented managers. As you can see, a company can get those resources, and acquiring the resources then compete on the market and earn the above average return. So actually we have two models. First model is the place where can you get more profits, meaning the IO model, International Industrial Organization model. And the second one, the resource-based model, which allows us to earn more based on what we already control. The resource-based model has the four underlying assumptions. They are listed on this screen. You can read it on your pace after the lecture, or you can make you familiar in the textbook. I just want to mention that as sources of competitive advantage, capability must not be easily imitated, but also not to be complex to understand and manage. There are a couple of examples. There are lots of examples of those competitive advantage that are difficult to imitate. For example, we probably know the Southwest Airlines, a low coaster, which has set the standards for the low cost industry, and they try to get some advantages, which includes the training personnel, the specific set of the aircrafts, the time they serve the customers, the exclusion of a couple of services, and so on. The rivals try to imitate the model of Southwest Airlines, but unfortunately it wasn't work for them good, and many of them rather lost money than lost investments, and get huge losses than to achieve the success of Southwest Airlines. And as said by us, it was said by Michael Porter, the success of being different and success of getting competitive advantage is the fit all the capabilities to each other, meaning that those capabilities, those advantages, those capabilities the company possess need to be stick to each other and work as a unique system towards the success of the company. It's not just pick up something very new and very different to what's other doing on the market, towards other doing on the help offering to the customers. The system need to be united. The system need to be managed in a way for offering the value that is appreciated by the customers who are willing to pay their money for the services you provided, or the firms are provided. We have here also the 5 steps for this model, the resource-based model, how we approach the success of the company if we are going this way. And this implies that we need to identify the firm's resources, first of all, study its strengths and weaknesses, compared with those of competitors. Next, we determine the firm's capabilities. What do the capabilities allow the firm to do better than to the competitors? Next, we determine the potential of the firm's resources and capabilities in terms of a competitive advantage. And only then we locate the attractive industry, meaning, first of all, we understand ourselves, we understand the company, we understand what we possess, and then we think and which industry is most fit to the company set of advantage, company set of resources and abilities, and only on the step 4 we allocate this company, this is industry. So this resource-based model works a way around to the other model, the international organization. We start with the company, not with the sector, not with the industry. And on the step 5, as in a previous model, we set the strategy that best allow us to compete on this sector, in this industry, and how to best use the resources and capabilities relative to our rivals. So we finished 2 models which help us to understand where we're going to and how we're going to compete. And now we try to come closer to the plan. And this plan traditionally begins with the formulation of 3 statements. Those statements include vision statement, mission, and values. The key purpose of vision and mission statements is to inform stakeholders what the firm is, what it seeks to accomplish, and what it seeks to serve. The stakeholders, about the stakeholders we'll talk a bit later, but here I want to say that it's not about the shareholders, not those who own the company. It's a bit, it's much broader term, and we understand, we probably understand that, and we probably know that. But it is essential for the for setting of strategic strategy to understand who are the stakeholders are and to communicate our strategy in different ways. It is important in different ways. First of all, it is important because it sends signals to our customers what value we are going to offer to them. It sends the message and sends the signal to our shareholders. Send message to our shareholders about the way we are going to approach. We need to convince our shareholders, the money who, I mean the managers. We need to convince our shareholders and lenders about the way we are going to compete. Other way we want to have the get the funds to create the company to compete, to do what we are going to do on the market. And you probably heard some ways on how that already there are lots of trends towards lots of ideas that not every business can be financed, even if it's very profitable. You probably heard about green bonds, where which are aimed to finance only the project with the which contributes towards the green economy and sustainable economy. And you probably know about other sets on the market, which implies that understanding by stakeholders of what the company are and what goals we are trying to achieve is important in different ways, in terms of getting resources, in terms of financing the resources, the company, and so on. There's a question: should managers choose one of two models, or those models can be implemented simultaneously? In practical way, it is needed to go both ways. You need to understand where you are and how to go. If you see on the models and then schemes listed, basically it is just two ways of thinking about the strategy. You can start with one model and verify your decision and come to a conclusion where to go and why to compete. And other way you can use the other model to verify your choice, your conclusions on what you decided. It is deeply depends on the manager's preferences. There is no right answer to how to proceed. I see in the practice, I saw many people who prefer one way or another one. In general, the resource-based view is more, let's say, wide used by managers who works with the strategy settings, strategy implementation. It's more reasonable, more easy to proceed with this way. You understand what you have, and you then proceed, and you go to the place where those where your advantages, your capabilities are useful. The resources can be implemented and used more profitably for the company. Let's return to the presentation. The vision and mission statements provide the foundation the firm needs to choose and implement one of the most strategies. Core value statement is also an important feature here, and it is important for you to understand how it is important to know that such value statements are very useful. It is new one. Traditionally, it was just a mission and vision. Values come a bit later, but the statement of principles to guide an organization as it works and to achieve its vision and fulfill its mission for both internal and conduct external interaction. The value statement helps companies to work with the internal and external stakeholders, and we'll talk about a bit later about that. Once again, vision. It's a picture about what the firm wants to be, and in broad terms, what it wants to achieve. You see some examples of the vision here. For example, Alibaba Group, its vision is to make it easy to do business anywhere. Facebook, to make the world more open and connected. Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. You see that it's it's a big picture of where a company is going to be and where a company is going to compete, in what business the company is going to serve its clients and to do its business. Mission is the next step. It's built on the vision of organization. Established once the organization established a vision, it then proceeds to mission. A mission describes what the organization actually does. The company is intended to serve, the products and services it plans to provide, and the markets in which it will compete. A mission is more concrete than a firm's vision. It should establish a firm's individuality. It should be inspiring and relevant to all the stakeholders. There are also some other requirements for the mission statements, and we'll work through this on the seminars, and probably you will be able to discuss. For my understanding, there are lots of ways to describe the mission, and it will be interesting for us to practice with you on the seminars about discuss what mission is about and how it should be, in which words it should be set, and which framework is helps to set the mission. Once again, I'd like to stress the importance of values. Especially it is important these days when values is matter, because it provides touchstones for the employees, for the customers to understand about what the company is about. The values helps the company, the employees of the company to communicate to each other during the business routine. It helps to create organizational culture, and it's basically the cornerstone of the organizational culture. Usually the values, not just the statement, it requires for the top managers to certain examples of value implementation in everyday business life, and the way the top manager is doing that, it's very important. In companies, the values can be set in sort of aggressive terms. We want to conquer the world, and we are the best. We much better than rivals, and in some point of time, such views can create a toxic environment, and you will see the failure of those companies. You can probably remember the dot-com boom in the beginning of 20s, and you can probably read this in some literature. Around this time, there were lots of discussion about companies' values, and the failure, one of the greatest at that time consulting firms, Arthur Andersen, was linked to the toxic corporate culture, which was set exactly on the wrong values. The values of the Arthur Andersen was that the company and the people in the company, not just the best of the best, but that the rest of the world is not that do not deserve to be even compared to Arthur Andersen. So the smartest guys in the room then quit the business, and it was a great business collapse at that time, one of the greatest collapse in that time. Guys, if you are tired, we can have a break. But so far, I'd like to show you an example of all three statements created by IKEA. The vision statement of IKEA is to create a better everyday life for many people. The mission: offer a wide range of well-designed, functional home furnishing products at price so low that as many people as possible will be able to afford them. You see, this is how the mission is linked to the vision statement, and mission explains how IKEA see the way to create the better life for many people. And To do so, IKEA based its business on the key values as those which you see on the slide. Guys, I would suggest 3 minutes break, 4 minutes break for you to have a cup of tea. I believe that many of you are at home, and you need to, and I wish you to have a short break before we proceed. Let's have 3 minutes break. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for reminding me that we have only 10 minutes left. This is I already tell you that it's a challenge for me, and it's a great pleasure for me to be your lecturer. But again, it's great challenge for me. This is actually my first lecture, and I hope the next one will be within different settings. I mean, I'll try to be more precise, and I'll try to be more less nervous. Let's proceed to the final topic of today's lecture. It's about stakeholders. We already talked a little bit about what the stakeholders, who are the stakeholders, and why are they important for the company, for the strategy. Basically, we have many different organization groups and individuals who are important for our company. They influence our business, how the company works and how the business works. It's not just the customers, not just our suppliers or rivals or societies around us, but it also or our shareholders. Lots of them are important and influence the strategy. They are important because we need to serve them and understand their values and be fit to work in the environment which is created by these stakeholders. Nevertheless, because firms are not equally dependent of all stakeholders at all times, stakeholders possess different degrees of and abilities to influence our organization. Meaning, we need to set priorities for how we serve those stakeholders. Just a couple of ideas about stakeholders. We basically have 3 groups. First one is the capital market shareholders, stakeholders and shareholders, major suppliers of capital, banks. In Russia, it's about banks usually. In the different countries, it may be funds and so on, but here it's about banks. We have also product market stakeholders, our primary customers, suppliers, host communities, and unions. Unions means the organizations of of our employees, but for this country, for Russia, it's not that important. But if you're working in different environment and established markets, the union's position is very important and may may have great influence to how the companies work, how they operate. And for those of you who are living or was in Europe, you can see that the union's influence create the opportunity not to purchase anything on the late hours. The third group of stakeholders are employees and managers and non-managers within the company. When shareholders and lenders expect a firm to preserve and enhance their wealth, this is the probably the most important so far. The most important stakeholder. The shareholders and lenders, specifically in Russia, they greatly influence the decisions of the company. And I would stress you, and I want to stress here that in different on different markets, the importance of stakeholders and shareholders are a bit different. In this country, in Russia, the shareholders, the owners of the company, and they have great influence on how the company operates. In the countries, in the markets with the different level of development in the United States and Europe, the importance of shareholders might be a bit different, and the influence of the management on how the company operates can be much greater. The reason is not the reason for this setting is not the topic of this course, but for you just account how it works. You need to understand that and take into account when you analyze when you will be working with the cases. And one of the reasons for us to offer you a consulting project with the Russian company, exactly for you to understand how different might be the relationship between what you read in the textbooks or what you read in the course and articles and the real environment. Because unfortunately, the real environment is not of this country is not captured in the textbook. And we hope that consulting project can provide you some better understanding of specific of Russian market and Russian companies. The organizational stakeholders include two of them, employees and leaders of the business. The interest of those two subgroups are different. And when analyzing the cases, you also need to provide your understanding and show your understanding that those interests are different. First of all, employees expect the firm to provide a dynamic and rewarding work experience, work environment. The leaders have a different set of goals, and they need to account to shareholders. They need to help a firm employees understand competition and global competitive landscape through international assignments and through the work with the employees. So organizational stakeholders influence this in different ways. Guys, thank you for being with me today. Once again, it's a great pleasure for me to be your lecturer here. It's a huge stress and huge experience for me, and I hope See you next time on Friday, 21st of January. We'll have a quiz number 1. The quiz will be set on the chapter 1 of the prescribed textbook. And we'll proceed to external environment, opportunities and threats, industrial competition and competitive analysis. You can find the topics. I ask you to read through the textbook and to be ready to be more involved in the discussion.